Okay. Yeah, you can share the screen, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah, just doing that. Actually, different websites show it in a different way. I did
Yeah,
find one Filipino one which was really good actually. But anyways, this one is loading up. This should be a good one, I think, too. Hmm. Looks like, yeah, Wi-Fi seems to be like not so fast. Looks like today. You want to get started up, Prabhuji?
uh, yeah. I've attached the PDF, Prabhuji.
Oh,
So
okay, okay,
in the chat,
okay.
it should
Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful.
that that
Let me
one.
just put it
Yeah, I
on
got this from Amoga Prabhuji. So it's in. I think everything is at.
the.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, we have 1 minute. I mean,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Is everyone repeating after me, or do I have to just
you can go ahead. I think Prabhuji,
go
if
ahead?
I think
Okay,
that's
no problem. Hare Krishna. Sure, Prabhuji. Yeah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam
yeah, 1 minute.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamlam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sujeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Sakhanvitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदाम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे and Korivashram ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity. Hare
Uh,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. That's really nice. Wonderful way to start off with our session today. And also just to we got a few more days away where we will be getting into Gaura Purnima, which is going to be on the 1st of March. Um, I don't know with Vrindavan Prabhu if he's going to be joining us today. Otherwise, we would have asked him to just sing a bhajan for the Gauri Purnima. But I think that actual day is on the third, isn't it, Prabhuji, Hamaga Prabhuji? And first, of course, we are celebrating in manner on the first, but actually it's happening on the third, I think. So we have both the days, 1st of March as well as the 3rd of March as well, when Gauri Purnima will be celebrated in manner in the temple over here. But it's wonderful for us actually as devotees to kind of like to understand about the importance of Gaura Purnima, because it's very important that many times I just tell with our devotees actually that we are here in the Krishna Mandir, it's because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is because of him that this whole movement has been started and inaugurated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this Hare Krishna movement, and taking the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada went to the Western countries to go and start this Hare Krishna movement in the US. It's so amazing, isn't it, how the Hare Krishna movement has started actually in the Western country. I mean, it was, of course, inaugurated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Srila Prabhupada taken that mission to the Western country, started over there. And today there are more than 1,000 temples all over there, and just chanting. And it's all by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he has given us in Kali Yuga. It is very much important. Kalir dosha nidhi rajan astihai ek mahaguna kirtanadi eva krishnasya mukta sango param brijit. Our scriptures say that of all the yugas, this Kali Yuga is the most fallen yuga, a yuga of hypocrisy, anxiety, and so many kind of material problems. But the good part, Mahaguna, ek Mahaguna is of this Kali Yuga is that by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can be liberated and we can go back to the Krishna Loka. So this is the highest benediction that Krishna himself came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give us. In Dwapar Yuga, Krishna himself expands, and it's very beautifully mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Radha Krishna eki atma duhi dehadari anyone vilase rasa ashwadana kari. Radha and Krishna eki atma, but they appear in two separate spiritual bodies in a loving relationship with each other, transcendental bodies. So Krishna, Radharini Shakti within Krishna is expanded in the form of Radharani. And very interestingly, in Dwapar Yuga, Krishna expands as Krishna and Radharani. And again in Kali Yuga, they come together as a devotee called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but in the mood of Radharani. And that's the reason why, and who can be a greater devotee therefore Krishna than Radharani, who showed us how to love Krishna. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us, giving us the most easiest and the best and the easiest process in Kali Yuga, that just chant, dance, have prasadam, and be Krishna conscious and go back to Krishna Loka. This is the greatest benediction and the easiest process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us. And we are so fortunate that we have all of us, we are taken to this, because there's so many gurus out there, each person giving his own way of channelizing towards God consciousness. But what we have here is the Hare Krishna movement, which was inaugurated by Krishna himself in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So who can give us a greater direction as a guru, because Krishna is sitting inside all of our heart as Chaitya Guru. And that Guru again comes in the form of a devotee to give us this message that Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kablo Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Gatiranyata. That the one and only way in which we can attain Krishna Prema is by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So very, very fortunate that Gaura Purnima is coming up, and we all know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called as Gauranga. And that's because he was in a molten golden complexion as Radharani, because he came in the mood of Radharani. And that's why he's called as Gauranga. And why Gaura Purnima? Because Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the form of in the mood of Radharani. He was a molten golden complexion. And Purnima means full moon, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on a full moon day. And we celebrate it as Gaura Purnima. So our Hare Krishna movement and a Hare Krishna life will be very successful if we ask for the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And very interestingly, Gauranga, the name Gauranga comes for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we can see that that is one of the names in Vishnu Sahasranama, the 1,000 names of Krishna, in which it is mentioned Suvarnavarno Hemango Varanga Chandanangadi. Suvarnavarno is like in a molten golden complexion. That is one of the names of Krishna. Is a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name. Imagine 5,000 years ago, Bhishma Pitamaha is reciting this Vishnu Sahasranama in front of Krishna with one of the names referring to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago, but this was mentioned 5,000 years ago. How beautiful, isn't it? Suvarnavarno Hemango, because it's mentioned that he was in a molten golden complexion. His limbs were so beautiful, and his body was smeared with sandalwood paste. So all those names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been mentioned in Vishnu Sahasranam. And also it's also been mentioned because after meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meeting his guru and getting his initiation from Ishwara Puri in Gaya. He after that he takes sannyas. So even that sannyasi thing is also mentioned in Vishnu Sahasranam. Imagine 5,000 years ago, in front of Krishna, Bhishma Pitamaha is reciting the names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Can we believe it? Sannyasa Kuchama Shanto Nishta Shanti Parayanam. So this is one of the names in Vishnu Sahasranam. Sannyasa Kuchama Shanto. That means Krishna, who was taken sannyas as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was taken sannyas. And also Nishta Shanti Parayanam. He was very equipoised. He was very peaceful. And he was able to defeat all the people who are into atheism and were into non-dualism. You know, we would think like impersonalism. So he was able to do all that. So all those names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been mentioned in Vishnu Sahasranam. And very interestingly, just one quick one which I wanted to share with everyone before we get into the Krishna Katha, that that beautiful Leela that has happened, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on a tour on South India, and when we went to another place where he seen an old Brahmin reading Bhagavad Gita, and he was crying. Actually, the old Brahmin was crying, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, like, why are you crying holding a Bhagavad Gita? And that old Brahmana, he said, like, Prabhuji, Mahaprabhu, my guru asked me to read Bhagavad Gita every day. But unfortunately, I'm illiterate. I cannot read the Bhagavad Gita. And so he's just going through all the pages, and he was looking at the cover page. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, then why are you crying like that? Why are you're going through the pages, you're looking at the cover and you're crying? He said, Prabhu, I'm an illiterate. I'm not able to read Bhagavad Gita because I can't read properly. But I was just crying because seeing the cover page of Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord is Krishna is so kind and so merciful, that if you are able to, even even if you're able, just by seeing this beautiful cover page, I'm able to realize that Krishna is so kind and merciful that just for the sake of his devotee, who's Arjuna, he's ready to even become a charioteer. The Devadi Deva, the supreme lord of all the lords, is so kind and merciful. He's ready to become a charioteer. Because when in Kurukshetra, the driver doesn't have, he's actually Krishna. During that time in Kurukshetra, Arjuna doesn't have time to tell Krishna, go this side and that side. So he literally kicks Krishna from behind to indicate which direction to go. And Krishna is taking all the kicks and still serving him as a charioteer. So that's what he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that seeing that Krishna, how beautiful he is, that he's ready to even become a charioteer. So because of that, I'm crying, how kind Krishna is. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hugged him and said, like, you have actually understood the essence of Bhagavad Gita. That the Lord, Deva, is so kind and merciful, is ready to do anything for his devotee. And he has. So this is one of the Leela which I just wanted to mention about. Yeah, I think Swarup Prabhuji, you wanted to do a small kirtan, I see, yeah?
Prabhu, if you want, because you said that if
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ramlila Prabhu is there, I'm
Yeah,
not sure whether he is there today in the this thing. Let me just check. If he's there, of course he should do it because he's much more elevated than I am. But if you want, I can do a very short kirtan on Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, definitely. Hare Krishna, Krishna Anil Prabhu, thank you for joining us. Yeah, yeah, sure, Prabhuji, go ahead and then we will dive into the. Yeah.
It's a very short one, Prabhu, so I'll keep it
Perfect.
brief.
No problem, Prabhuji. No problem.
Bhaj Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Loho Gaurangero Naam Re, Bhaj Gaurango, Loho Gaurango, Kaho Gauranger Naam Re, Ji Jana গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে সেই আমার প্রাণ রে ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে যেই জনা গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে সেই আমার প্রাণ রে ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে, যেই জনা গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে, সে আমার প্রাণ রে। ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ, কহ গৌরাঙ্গ, লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে। ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ, কহ গৌরাঙ্গ, লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে। যেই জনা গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে, সেই আমার প্রাণ রে। যেই জনা গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে, সেই আমার প্রাণ রে। যেই জনা গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে, সেই আমার প্রাণ রে। হরে কৃষ্ণ, হরে কৃষ্ণ, কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ হরে হরে, হরে রাম, হরে রাম, রাম রাম হরে হরে। হরে কৃষ্ণ, হরে কৃষ্ণ, কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ হরে হরে, হরে রাম, হরে রাম, রাম রাম হরে হরে। হরে কৃষ্ণ, হরে কৃষ্ণ, কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ হরে হরে, হরে রাম, হরে রাম, রাম রাম হরে হরে। ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ, কহ গৌরাঙ্গ, লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে। হরে কৃষ্ণ প্রভু।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That was wonderful, sorry Prabhuji. Beautiful, actually. I just love this particular bhajan for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhaja Gauranga, because always keep chanting and follow what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the easiest process for all of us to advance in Krishna consciousness. I want to just also invite Naveen Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So happy to have you join the Sangha. Thank you for joining us. Um, and Rajalakshmi ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu ji. Hare
Hare
Krishna to
Krishna.
everyone. Dhanwad
Hare
pranam to
Krishna.
all of you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Neeraj Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Babuji.
Yeah,
Hare
Anil
Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. And without losing much time, sorry, Prabhuji, you gave a wonderful this thing start for us. And so on that note, I will just dive into the Krishna book. And I thought we had someone else also. I think maybe she would have just slipped, some Rena or someone has joined, and maybe she's going to join again. Maybe some issue was done. So happy to be with our Sangha. So I'll just join with after offering our obeisances and our prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. We are so fortunate to be having this Sangha where we chanting, and I was just going back to our recordings on YouTube, and I was so surprised to see, like, from night 2023 onwards, how consistently this Krishna Katha is going on. And this is the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and blessings of the Vaishnavas that we are able to continue so consistently. And we are right now in chapter number 71. And as we mention before we start the Krishna Katha. Krishna, very interestingly for us to observe, Krishna says, Jatasya hi dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmat apariharyate natvam sochita maharasi. One who's born is sure to die, Arjuna. And one, after death, one is sure to be born again. So you should not be so delusional about it. You should have to continue doing your duty. So Krishna, in one way, in Bhagavad Gita says that for every human being who's born is sure to die, and after that, once is surely going to be born again. But there is only one exception, that janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti takrutaha chaktu deham punarjanma naiti mameti. The only exception that we will not be born again in this material world is when we are to those devotees who are listening to Krishna Katha, those who are listening to Bhagavad Gita. Krishna Bhagavan says, those devotees toward the end of their life, there is no more going to be birth in this material world, because they will have accumulated so much of spiritual bank balance that it will take them back to the Krishna Loka. So it's such a benediction that Krishna is offering us, that by just reading the easiest process, by Shravanam, by hearing the Krishna Katha, it gives us so much of auspiciousness that Krishna himself says that we go back to Krishna Loka. On that note, I just want to get started off with chapter number 71. We all have seen there have been two requests that have come, and one request has come from all the messenger on behalf of all the kings who have been imprisoned by Jarasandha. And Jarasandha was a very demoniac king. Krishna defeated him 16 times, but still he didn't learn the lesson, and now he goes and imprisons all the kings who did not bow to him. And so the messenger has come and asked Krishna, please come and release all those kings who have been imprisoned. On the other hand, we've seen that there has been a request that has come from Narada Muni. He was actually asked that Krishna should go to Indraprastha and he should take part in the Rajasuya sacrifice. And we also seen that Krishna asked Uddhava for advice. Uddhava, what is the right thing for me to do? So this is the beautiful thing about Krishna Katha. Krishna is playing a perfect role of a king of Dwaraka, and he's asking for Uddhava's opinion. Uddhava is very nicely mentioned that Krishna, first you have to go and kill all those demoniac kings who have been the Jarasandha, the demoniac Jarasandha who has imprisoned all the things. And one after that is done, then you can go and attend the Rajasuya sacrifice. So we covered that. And so Krishna had taken the obeisances, he offered his obeisances to Narada Muni, because even though he's the Supreme Lord, but here he is playing the role of a king of Dwarka, and the kings were always honoring the sages. So he was doing all his honors to sage Narada. And then after that, he is actually getting ready, as Uddhava has advised him that first go and release all those kings who have been imprisoned by Jarasandha, and then you can go and attend the Rajasuya sacrifice. So that's what Krishna has finally decided. And we also seen last week how the chariots of Krishna was starting to go to Hastinapur, and we were also seeing like how all the queens of Krishna, they were accompanying him, and we seen all the kind of procession that was going on. It was just amazing to see, like, how the opulence in Dwapara Yuga. So this is very important, because a lot of people, they do not have this knowledge how the land of Bharat, which is India, was so opulent in the times of Dwapara Yuga. In fact, the whole world was being ruled by the kings at that point of time. And we can see like how Krishna was showing all his perfectly following all the Vedic rituals that had to be followed at that point of time. And when Yudhishthira heard that Krishna is coming to Hastinapur, he was so overjoyed, right? He was so much happy, and we can see the kind of the celebration that was happening, and he was getting everything arranged to welcome Krishna in the best way that he could. And and immediately Krishna, we know that he went to Hastinapur, and then he was kind of like being nicely received by the Pandavas, and all of them, they came and gave the hugs to Krishna, and Krishna was so nicely reciprocating. And you can see the roads and the streets of Hastinapur were sprinkled with fragrant water and things like that. So this was very similar to how Krishna, when he went to Mathura for the first time, all the people, like all the people who are in the houses and all, they were just waiting to see Krishna. Krishna is looking so beautiful. They were all just doing. And similarly here also we can see that, yeah, the Pandavas arranged for such a wonderful reception for Krishna, that all the drums and kekayas and all these things were happening, and all the elder members of the Bhishma, Drona, and all of them were there. And Krishna was perfectly playing the role of a king and of someone who's very close, a cousin of the Pandavas. And he entered into the great city of Hastinapur, which was very opulent at that point of time. and all the people, they were like so overjoyed to see, and they were just talking about themselves, about, because everybody heard about the beautiful leelas of Krishna. They heard about how Krishna has done those beautiful pastimes and how he protected the people of Vrindavan. So everybody were already aware of the opulence on these things, and we seen also in Hastinapur how grand it was and how beautiful the decorations were. And Lord Krishna thus enters into the Pandavas, into the city of the Pandavas, and we can see that all the people, young girls and everyone who's heard about Krishna, they were like, you can see like how their bodily composure, or the hairs were loosened and the tightened sarees became slack, and they gave up all the household arrangement, and they were just, they were just wanted so eagerly, came down onto the street to see Lord Krishna. And the procession of the elephants and all these things, they were so overcrowded. So we can just bring to mind, Srimad Bhagavatam is explained, these opulences, and the narration is so beautiful that we can literally, by just reading the Krishna Katha, we can bring to mind how beautiful and how opulent it must have been at the time of Krishna. And pleased to see the Lord Krishna passing with the thousands of queens. They showered flowers on the process, and embraced Lord Krishna within the mind, and they gave a high hearty reception. So you can see that this is the way they received Krishna. And one girl saying to another, "My dear friend, it's very difficult to guess what kind of pious activities these queens have performed, for they're always enjoying the smiling face and loving glances of Krishna." So you can see, like, right from the time of Dwapara Yuga, and much earlier than that, in Sanatan Dharma, everybody were aware of the law of karma, that you must have done something in your previous life in order that today, in this life, that all the queens, they were able to had the association of Krinja, enjoying the smiling face and the loving glances of Krishna. And similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna Bhagavan is saying, Yesham tue antagatam papam janananam punya karmanam. So Krishna is himself, Bhagavati, in Bhagavad Gita, is telling very clearly that those devotees who have done so much of pious activities in their previous life and in this life, they take to the bhakti of Krishna with great determination. So very, very important for us to understand that if all of us, we are taking to Krishna consciousness, all of us, we are following this Krishna consciousness, Hare Krishna movement, this is just not an ordinary thing. Krishna himself is saying, we have come to this stage of enjoying this devotional service to Krishna because we have done so much of piety in our previous life. Otherwise, it is impossible to be coming here to Krishna consciousness. So all of us, we have to realize that it is not accidentally that we have come to Krishna consciousness. We have come to Krishna consciousness because we have done some pious activities in our previous life. Krishna himself says, Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati sittaye yatatam siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. Krishna says, out of 1,000 among men, at least one person is endeavoring for perfection. And out of those people who are endeavoring for perfection in spiritual life, hardly one person knows Krishna. So imagine if we have come to Krishna consciousness among these millions and billions of people on the planet, what a benediction it is that Krishna conscious movement is being offered, that Krishna has started this in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that all the like-minded Krishna devotees can come together. That's the reason why Chaitanya Srila Prabhupada has started this movement called as International Society of Krishna Consciousness, that all the like-minded Krishna conscious devotees who have been practicing Krishna consciousness, maybe probably in our previous life as well, because Krishna says that wherever you have left off your bhakti in your previous life towards Krishna, in this life it will continue from there. So bhakti towards Krishna is not accidental. It is a continuation of the bhakti that we are doing, which have been done from our previous life. Janmantara sahasreshu tapodana samadbihi naranam Krishna punyanam. So Krishna says in Baladev Vidyabhushan, one of the greatest Gaudiya Vaishnava, he is giving this information in Vishnu Sahasranamam. Janmantara sahasreshu tapodana samadbihi, which means one would have done so much of sacrifices, charities, austerities in your previous life, that in this life you got a life which is taking you to Krishna consciousness. So very, very, we should never take it for granted. We are practicing only because we have done something piety in our previous life. Having said that, I would just like to get a continuation of this. Can I ask anyone if they can read this? We are coming to the end of this chapter, but if you can read this paragraph.
Yes, Shyam Prabhuji, I can read it if you want.
Yes, Anil Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Okay, if you don't mind, just bear with me because I'm on the phone, so I'll try my best.
Sure, definitely.
Okay. When Lord Krishna entered the palace, all the ladies there were overwhelmed with affection just upon seeing him. They immediately received Lord Krishna with glittering eyes, expressing their love and affection for him, and Lord Krishna smiled and accepted their feelings and gestures of reception. When Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, saw her nephew Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she was overpowered by love and affection. She at once got up from her bedstead and appeared before him with her daughter-in-law Draupadi, and in maternal love and affection she embraced him. As Maharaja Yudhishthira brought Krishna within the palace, the king became so confused in his jubilation that he practically forgot what he was to do at that time to receive Krishna and worship him properly. Lord Krishna delightfully offered his respect and obeisances to Kunti and other elderly ladies of the palace. His younger sister Subhadra was also standing there with Draupadi. Both offered their respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord, at the indication of her mother-in-law. Draupadi brought clothing, ornaments, and garlands, and with his paraphernalia they received the queens Rukmani, Satyabhama, Bhadra, Chambati, Kalandi, Mitravinda, Lakshmana, and the devoted Satya. These principal queens of Lord Krishna were first received, and then the other queens were also offered a proper reception. King Yudhishthira arranged for Krishna's rest and saw to it that all who came along with him, namely his queens, soldiers, ministers, and secretaries, were comfortably situated. He had arranged that they would experience a new feature of reception every day while staying as guests of the Pandavas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. So this is a beautiful scenario which we can bring to mind as Lord Krishna is entering the palace in the city of Hastinapur, where he is going there at the request of Narada Muni, who was asked, like, if he can meet the Pandavas and also take part in Rajasuya sacrifice. And also we know that one of the advice that Uddhava has given to Krishna is he has asked Krishna if he can engage Bhima, who has got the strength of 1,000 elephants, to go and fight on a one-on-one with Jarasandha. At the same time, Uddhava also asked Krishna to be there along with him so that he will be successful. So having said that, on that note, here Lord Krishna is entering the palace on the mission that he wanted to engage Bhima, on a this thing fight with Jarasandha. But here he is receiving all the warm and affection of the Pandavas. We've seen that how Krishna is nicely embraced the other Pandavas as well. But now that Krishna is entering into the palace, he's been nicely received with a lot of love and affection. Obviously, we can understand, like, Krishna is someone so dear to the Pandavas, and he's someone who can attract even the god Cupid. So you can imagine how beautiful Krishna must have been looking like, and he was nicely received and a great reception that was, and Krishna was smiling and also accepting the feelings. So we always had to remember that Krishna is always reciprocating. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, we can say that Krishna is always talking about reciprocating. That he kaunteya prati janihi name bhakta pranashyati, declaring to the world that my devotees, when they do so much of to me, I will also give my protection to them. So when Kunti, the mother of Pandavas, she was just overpowered by love and affection, because she knew that her sons, like the sons of Kunti Devi, they had the support of Krishna, they had the protection of Krishna. She was so overpowered by love and affection. In fact, Kunti Devi's prayers is one of the important prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam. And so she got up from the bedstead and she just appeared before, along with Draupadi, and showed all the affection towards him. And obviously we can see that Yudhishthira was so overwhelmed seeing Lord Krishna that he was like, in his confusion, he practically forgot what is he supposed to do to receive Krishna and worship him. So this is the mode in which you can see, like, sometimes when somebody who's so dear to us comes suddenly and appears in front of us, sometimes we become so blank. We don't know how to express our love for them, right? We become speechless. We become dumbstruck. Like, what? How do I show my affection towards my cousin? So that was the kind of a mood over here. But again, Krishna delightfully offers respect and obeisances to Kunti and all of them. And we can see that even his younger sister, Subhadra, was also standing along with Draupadi. So it was been a nice family reunion of Krishna coming along with his queens on one hand. And out there, you have all the Pandavas, you have Kunti Devi, and along with the son, along with Draupadi, and all of them nicely receiving. And we can see that the instant of Kunti Devi, Draupadi was getting the clothes and ornaments, and they were nicely offering it to, and the queens like Rukmini. Of course, we know Krishna's got many queens, the 16,000 queens. Again, also we know the beautiful story that Krishna himself expanded into 16,000 Krishnas to be with all the 16,000 queens. So that is the opulence of Krishna, that he can manifest as so many, just like how he's sitting as Paramatma in expanding himself as Paramatma in so many, in every Jivatma's heart. So similarly here, Krishna and his queens have been nicely received, and the queens also, the names have been mentioned: Rukmini, Satyabhama, Bhadra, Jambavati, Kalinda, Mitravinda, Lakshmana, and devoted Satya. So these are all the principal queens. Of course, we know Rukmini was such an important. Rukmini and Satyabhama are one of the leading ones, and all other queens also, they were given a proper reception. And obviously Yudhishthira, you being a cousin and someone who loved Krishna with so much, and we all know that Yudhishthira is such an important. Vishnu Sahasranama is basically a conversation between Yudhishthira and Bhishma Pitama, right? Such an important thing in South India. Most of the temples, Vishnu temples, they recite Vishnu Sahasranamam in the evening. And this is because Yudhishthira was asking Bhishma Pitama, please tell us what is the highest dharma in life. And that's when Krishna speaks about, yeah, that's when Bhishma Pitama speaks about Vishnu Sahasranamam. So here, um, so a nice reception has been arranged for all the queens and soldiers and all that, comfortably seated, and they get a beautiful experience. And this is something which we also can, if I see, I was just recalling an incident, right? Sometimes when we go with very well-known people, you get the same reception like along with them, and you get such a lovely reception with them. Sometimes, it so happens that sometimes when we go for house programs, or sometimes when, recently we went for a house program, and because we were representing the temple, we got such a beautiful reception in the house sangha. Like the satsang was so beautiful. They received us so nicely. There was a satsang in Watford, and we were invited, and I was just giving a small talk on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I did a bit of kirtan and all that. It was so joyful that we are representing Krishna, we are representing Radha Gokulananda, we are representing the temple, and we're going to the satsang. So they received us so nicely, and they offered such a wonderful warm hospitality, and then we did kirtan for them, and then like finally we had beautiful Mahaprasadam, which is one of the things. Like any house program you go to, any devotee's house, they will literally pamper you with a lot of beautiful prasadam. So I was just recalling that. And also, once I remember when we went to Liverpool along with along with Srila Prabhupada's one of the primary disciples like Guru Das Prabhu and Sham Sundar Prabhu, who came here, and had the fortune of taking them around to Liverpool and other Leicester and all these places. And I seen, like, because they were well known and because they were very close to the Beatles, and because of them, even I got a great, beautiful reception. So I was just remembering that, sometimes when you go with wonderful people, great people, and who are well-known people, even get the reception. Like here, because all of them accompanied Krishna, so the soldiers, the ministers, secretaries, all the queens, they also got great reception, right? So similarly, in Krishna consciousness, when we are representing Krishna, when we are representing the Krishna temple, Krishna arranges such wonderful things for his devotees. It's not because of us; it is because Krishna is so loving and so kind that when we are doing something for him, right? When we are going on behalf of him, when we are going to serve on behalf of him, so on serving him, Krishna makes sure that he gives us such a wonderful experiences, because he says in Bhagavad Gita, right? नेहा विक्रमनाशोस्ति प्रत्यवायो ने विद्यते स्वल्पम अभ्यस्य धर्म से त्रायते महतो भवत. In this devotion, in this path of devotional service, even if you do a little bit of seva for Krishna, Krishna says it will protect you from the greatest dangers of life, because this material life, being born, old age, disease, and death, and all these are like. So Krishna says it will protect you from all these kind of this. It will make you get out of it. So very beautiful. I was just remembering that when we had to go with Krishna's devotees, with the senior Vaishnavas, such a wonderful reception we get. So that's what Krishna does. When we go with Krishna, when we go with Krishna's nama, or take even Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? When we go on the streets of London and we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because there is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's nama, right? Kalikale Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar, which means the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the Nama avatar of Krishna. So when we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and going on the streets of London, it is like we are having Krishna over there and we are just following Krishna. Just like how all these people have gone to Hastinapur along with Krishna, we are also taking a banner of Krishna with the banner of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and we are following the banner and going on the streets of London. So very nicely we had to contemplate and realize from this Krishna Katha, like how even Krishna is giving us the benediction. There is no difference at all. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Siddho Nityamulto Abhinnitvam Naminamine. They Abhinna Nami, which means Abhinna Naminamine, which means that there is no difference between seeing Krishna in person and the chanting and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There's no difference at all. And it's the wish fulfilling mantra. And so nicely, it's been a beautiful experience of new features of reception that has been arranged by the Pandavas. Can I ask anyone if you can read the last paragraph, please? Anyone would like to?
I'm happy to read
Sure.
Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, Mataji, please go ahead.
It was during this time Lord Sri Krishna, with the help of Arjuna, allowed the fire god Agni to devour the Kandava forest for his satisfaction during the forest fire. Krishna saved the demon Mayasura, who was hiding in the forest. Upon being saved, Mayasura felt obliged to the Pandavas and Lord Krishna, and he constructed a wonderful assembly house within the city of Hastinapura. To please King Yudhishthira, Lord Krishna remained in the city of Hastinapura for several months. During his stay, he enjoyed strolling here and there. He used to drive on chariots with Arjuna, and many warriors and soldiers used to follow them. Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna
Mataji. That was
Prabhu. Thank
wonderful.
you.
So this is again we had to go circles back, like how they show flashback. This is the time when Lord Krishna, with the help of Arjuna, allowed the fire god. So we know in so many chapters behind in Krishna Katha, we already covered this in one of the chapters where the fire god Agni came and asked, because there, for some reason, there was some leela behind that where Agni asked to devour this Kanda forest for his satisfaction. He had to go and devour this particular forest called Kandava forest. And during that time, and Krishna saved this demon Mayasura, who was hiding in that particular forest. And all these leelas are so beautifully connected. So on one hand, Krishna was, with the help of Arjuna, they were allowing the Agni, who had to go and devour the entire Kandava forest for their satisfaction. At the same time, there was a demon called Mayasura was hiding, and just because Krishna and saved the demon, so Mayasura wanted to just show their gratitude. He wanted to show his gratitude to the Pandavas and Krishna, and then that's when they requested Mayasura, if he can do something like create a kind of Maya Sabha, or a wonderful assembly within the city of Hastinapur. And we covered that in the earlier chapters in Krishna Katha, where Mayasura went and created this particular beautiful, it's supposed to be like a very, very beautiful assembly house within Hastinapur. So that was done. So it is just a reflection of that. And then we also know that during that time, Krishna was enjoying the hospitality which was given by Yudhishthira, and during that time, Lord Krishna and one of the Pandavas, which is like Arjuna, they used to go on a drive in the chariot, and many warriors and soldiers used to follow them. So there was a leela which happened in Krishna Katha, but we are just bringing back a flashback of that particular leela here, saying that that it was happened, this particular leela where Lord Krishna and Arjuna, where they got this this assembly house created by Mayasura was happening during this trip. that Krishna came to the city of Hastinapur. So very nice, like how all the beautiful, leelas have been connected. We have every chapter of Krishna Katha as a separate leela, but again, all these leelas are so nicely interweb, they're nicely connected with each other. So the conclusion of this chapter is Lord Krishna is there in Indraprastha city, and he's enjoying the hospitality of Pandavas, and but again we know that Krishna has come in a mission for two things. One, to go and arrange for Bhimasena to go and fight with Jarasandha and kill Jarasandha. And second thing is, after that is done, to attend the Rajasuya sacrifice. So these are the two things for which Krishna came came to this Indraprastha city. So the next one is actually chapter number 72, which is starting with the liberation of King Jarasandha. So, just as a continuation, since we got some more time, I would just ask if anybody. So, we are starting with a new chapter, the liberation of King Jarasandha. And we know that Jarasandha, Krishna has defeated him many times. But still, again, it's going on, and now we will see like how the liberation of King Jarasandha happens. Can I ask if anyone would like to recite this first paragraph of this chapter? Anybody?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Gayatri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Gayatri ji. Is that
Sandeep here.
Sandeep ji? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Would
I
you like
can.
to? Yeah. Please
Sure,
go ahead.
Can you do this?
Yeah, in the first in the. Oh, the.
1 second.
One second.
Yeah, definitely.
Just take it.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yeah. In the great assembly of respectable citizens, friends, relatives, brahmanas, sages, kshatriyas, and vaishyas, in the presence of all, including his brothers, King Yudhishthira directly addressed Lord Krishna as follows: My dear Lord Krishna, the sacrifice known as the Rajasuya Yajna is to be performed by the emperor, and it is considered the king of all sacrifices. By performing this sacrifice, I wish to satisfy all the demigods who are your empowered representatives within this material world, and I wish that you will kindly help me in this great venture so that it may be successfully executed. As far as the Pandavas are concerned, we have nothing to ask from the demigods. We are personally fully satisfied to be your devotees. As you say in the Bhagavad Gita, persons bewildered by material desires worship the demigods. But my purpose is different. I want to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice and invite the demigods to show that they have no power independent of you, that they are all your servants and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons with a poor fund of knowledge consider your lordship an ordinary human being. Sometimes they try to find fault in you, and sometimes they defame you. Therefore, I wish to perform this Rajasuya Yajna. I wish to invite all the demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other exalted chiefs of the heavenly planets, and in that great assembly of demigods from all parts of the universe, I want to substantiate that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that everyone is your servant. Hare Krishna. Is
Hare
that all?
Krishna. Yeah, this Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you, Sandeep Prabhuji. Very nice that you're taking part in. Very, very nice. Happy to have your association. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're continuing with this wonderful chapter because some chapters we start off new, but these chapters are interconnected. So we can see the daily life of Krishna's daily activities, and then we see like how Uddhava is instructing Krishna. We had the continuation of that, and this chapter is also a continuation of that, where liberation of King Jarasandha, and we can see that now Krishna is there in this. In Hastinapur, and how nicely he's been received by the Pandavas in the assembly of all these people. And so it's very important because sometimes we have so many beautiful leelas that are happening, but like for example, Narada Muni has said, Krishna, you have to come to Indraprastha to take part in the Rajasuya sacrifice. This is something which will please the Pandavas. So now Yudhishthira is making it, he's addressing Krishna nicely that this sacrifice is basically performed by the emperors, and it's supposed to be the king of all sacrifices, right? So in those days, even though the kings were very saintly, they knew their responsibilities very well towards, because nowadays, if you see all the politicians and the rulers and all that, they're hardly spiritual, right? They just only show the spiritual, this thing only for camera purposes. Like sometimes they just only do for as a photo op. Otherwise, you find very few politicians who are kind of like very religious, very saintly. But in the ancient times, even the kings used to take the counsel from the sages. They used to rule the kingdom based on it from with a lot of advice which is given by the spiritual sages and the well-wishers. And so here, so Yudhishthira was very much following this Rajasuya sacrifice, all the sacrifices that was being done. And very interestingly, um, it is mentioned the kind of yuga dharma for every yuga. Kretayad jayate Vishnum, Tretayam jajate Makai, Dwapare Parchayayam Kalotadari Kirtanad, which means the yuga dharma of Satya Yuga was basically engaging in meditation meditation for thousands of years. The Yuga Dharma of Treta Yuga, when Lord Ram was there, was fire sacrifice. That was the sacrifice that was very popular or very well known, and the Yuga Dharma, in fact, in particular Yuga. And when Dwapar Yuga there, the Yuga Dharma was deity worship. But in Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is Sankirtni Yajna. So this is the so this Rajashu Yajna and all that, these were like already prescribed during that time of Dwapar Yuga. But in Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is just Sankirtni Yajna, just chanting the Hare Krishna Mantra. So here, Yudhishthira is making very clear to Krishna that by performing this, he sacrificed the Rajashu sacrifice. He just wants to satisfy all the demigods who are empowered representatives. So the Pandavas are very clear about the distinction, because a lot of people, they have this what Krishna Katha gives us, it gives clarity, Bhagavad Gita and Krishna Katha, they give clarity to us, because a lot of people, they say, oh, what is the difference? Ganesha, Krishna, then all the gods are one and the same. But Bhagavad Gita makes it very, very clear that it is not all the same. Yanti deva brata devan pitrivanti pritivata bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti majyajinopimam. So Krishna makes it very clear. Those who worship the demigods or devatas, they go to the planet of the devatas towards the end of their life. Those who worship ancestors, they go to the planet of ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirit, they go and be born again among them. And those who worship me, they will come to my supreme planet. So here, the Pandavas are absolutely clear. They have complete clarity that they're just trying to satisfy the demigods who are empowered. And this is what very important for us to understand. Varuna, Chandra, Surya, these are all the devatas who have been empowered by Krishna. Right? In fact, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, right, Emam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Ahamavyam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manurikvake Bravit. Arjuna, first I explained this Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan passed it on. So these are all the sun god. The Bhagavad Gita was explained to the sun god, and he was one of the devatas. So Krishna has empowered him, right? So all these devatas, they're all empowered by Krishna. But the Supreme Lord is Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And where did he mention? He mentioned that in Bhagavad Gita. Mata paratam nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protem sutre maniganava. There is nothing more similar, superior to Krishna. Krishna says he is the Supreme Lord, and there is nothing more superior than Krishna. Right? So here he's saying, like, even he just wants to satisfy the demigods who are empowered by him. And and he's asking Krishna, I wish that you would kindly help me in this great venture so that it may be successful. Because if you have the blessings of Krishna, if you have Krishna himself personally being present, obviously the Rajasuya sacrifice is going to be successful. But we also seen in the last chapter, the Rajasuya sacrifice, for that to be performed, first the king has to be, an emperor has to be successful in all his, putting an end to all his opponents, and Jarasandha is still there, so that he has to put an end to that. And so nicely it is mentioned how the link has been given, where Yudhishthira is telling that as far as Pandavas say, we had nothing to ask from the demigod. So it is not like people in the material world, they go and worship the grama devatas. Many people, they worship the grama devatas, right? Village deities and all that. And but one thing we have to understand from Bhagavad Gita is Krishna, he's just giving knowledge. He's not saying that, oh, you shouldn't, don't do that, but he's explaining very clearly. What does he say in Kamaistaista riti jnana prapajyante naradamaha tam tam niyatam astaya Prakritya Niyata Swaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desire, they surrender to the devatas and follow the particular rules and regulations and worship according to their own natures. So Krishna is saying like those whose intelligence has been stolen by the material desires, because people in this material world, they want to have material desires and they want to go to some devata who can bless them and give them what they have asked for in this material world. So Krishna is saying, Yo yo yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhayarchitam ichyate tam tam eveti kaun astaya prakritya niyat Tasya tasya chalam shraddham tam eva vedadamyaham. Krishna, he's so kind. He's saying that, let's say if you worship some devata, right? If you worship some demigod, Krishna is saying, I'm sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma. And as soon as you desire to worship a particular devata, I am the one who's making your faith steady on that particular devata so that you can devote your time for the devata. So Krishna is so kind. He's not someone who's like saying like, oh, why did you go to the devata, but he's giving you knowledge. He's telling that if you, okay, by let's say if you want to worship Ganesha, I am the one sitting in your heart and making your faith strong in Ganesha, right? But here the Pandavas are so clear, but my purpose, they're saying that they just offering this Rajasuya sacrifice to please the demigod, but they're not expecting anything from the demigod. Unlike the people in this material world, they are expecting something for the material world, right? So, but Krishna says makes it very clear in Bhagavad Gita, Sataya Shraddhaya Yukta Stasya Radhanamihate Labate Cha Tata Kaman Mayaiva Vihita Hitan. Endured with such a faith, the people in this material world, they worship a particular devata and obtain all their desires, but in actuality all these benefits are bestowed by me alone. So Krishna is saying, even if you worship any devata, I am then the one, I am sitting in your heart making your faith strong in the devata. I am the one, through the devata I am trying to give whatever desires you have, you are fulfilling all these desires. But keep in mind that whichever devata is giving what you have asked for, everything is being sanctioned by me. I am the one who's giving this. So here, so nicely, I'm just explaining this from Bhagavad Gita because this is what Yudhishthira is trying to say. As you say in Bhagavad Gita, people bewildered by material desires, they worship the demigods, right? Whose intelligence has been stolen. They worship the demigod. But whatever the demigods give, that is temporary. It doesn't last for long. But what Krishna is offering is, he's offering himself, and he's also offering that if we can take to Krishna Bhakti, then towards the end of your life, Krishna is not interested in giving temporary benefit. No, he's not interested in giving some some BMW or this house. And he's saying, I will give you myself, and at the end of life, I will take you back to Krishna, my own Loka, Krishna Loka. So that is Krishna is even more, loves us even more than any other devatas, that he's promising that I want to take you back to my home where you don't need to suffer like this anymore. You can happily live with me. So this is the real love of Krishna. So here he's saying, like here Yudhishthira is saying, but my purpose, the purpose of Pandavas is different. They want to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice and invite all the devatas to show them that there is no power independent of you. So all the devatas are invited, but here in the presence of Krishna, to drive the point to the world that all the devatas, they are your servants and you are the supreme Lord. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, there are some concepts we all of us have to be very clear, that we believe in personalism. We don't believe in impersonalism. We don't believe in that, this is all Brahman. No, we believe that Krishna is a person, and we also believe that he is not the same as all the devatas. He is above all the devatas. He is above all the gunas, right? And all of them devatas, they're getting power from Krishna. And here, sometimes here he's saying, foolish people with a poor fund of knowledge consider your lordship as an ordinary human being. And this is what has happened, isn't it? Even when Krishna was there in the Dwapara Yuga, the Kauravas could not understand that Krishna is the supreme Lord, right? And they were like so egoistic. Krishna, come here, we'll give you a nice Rajabhoga. And Krishna refused to go when the Kauravas invited for a Rajabhoga. But when Vidura invited and he offered a banana, Krishna was ready to go because it was offered with love. So here, Pandavas were absolutely clear that inviting demigod to show that there's no power independent of. They want to, in fact, the reason why they want to also invite the demigods is to portray that they all the power that they're having is coming from Krishna. Because only foolish people, they think that Krishna is an ordinary person, and Krishna mentions that in Bhagavad Gita, only foolish people. And what happens when people don't have that love towards Krishna? Krishna says, I cover myself with yogamaya, naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita. I cover myself with yoga yama, so that they cannot understand me. And this is the reason, this is what is happening with Kauravas, right? They could not understand that Krishna is the supreme Lord. And I want to perform. So Yudhishthira is saying that he wants to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice and invite the demigods. So there's no power independent of you, that they're all servants and you are the supreme Lord. And only foolish people they consider as an ordinary person. And sometimes they defame you as well. We've seen that, right? Kauravas, they tried to arrest Krishna when he went as a peacemaker. So therefore, Krishna wants to, Yudhishthira wants to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice and invite all the demigods, right from Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all the exalted chiefs of the heavenly planets and the great assembly, all the devatas from all the parts of the universe. I want to substantiate that you are the Supreme Lord and that everyone is your servant. So this is the beautiful understanding that the Pandavas have in. And this is what the beauty about Krishna Katha. Through the Krishna Katha, the point is very, very clearly given to us, that through the eyes of Pandavas, when we see how the Pandavas had absolute clarity that there is Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he is the Supreme Lord of the universe, and below him you have all the devatas who have been empowered to do all the duties that Krishna is assigned to them. So we want to just stop over here where we spoke about about Krishna. It's nice that we just started off with this chapter, the liberation of King Jarasandha, but this is a nice indication where Yudhishthira is explaining why he's doing the Rajasuya sacrifice. Because even when I was first heard about this Rajasuya sacrifice, I was like, okay, what was the main intention of the Rajasuya? What is it that they're trying to accomplish? So nicely here, Yudhishthira has kind of explained the objective behind the doing the Rajasuya sacrifice. So I will just stop over here, and so that we can continue with this thing. But any kind of realizations, anything that you would like to add, any corrections, please let us know.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, just a quick question. Just in terms of the timing wise, this Rajasuya was performed when Pandavas were in Indraprastha, Prabhu, or?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, that's why he has mentioned that, when they have entered into that Hastinapur, which is that Indraprastha, that area. Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, that's where Krishna is right now.
Correct. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhu. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
trying to understand, because I thought when they perform this Rajasuya, it is this yagna where they leave the horse and then is it?
Yeah, I think that's going to come in later.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
here just
I
like
thought, because by then I thought Yudhishthira is already king and
yeah.
there is no
Kauravas
Kauravas, I
were
was
all
thinking,
gone.
but maybe that's why I got confused. Is it happening
Yeah,
after the Kurukshetra, or is it during when they were in?
Yeah, because I think even you can see that Yudhishthira is even referring to to the Bhagavad
Yeah,
Gita, isn't it? To the it's so amazing, isn't it? To see like how he is referring to that. Yeah, after the whole thing is over, that the
but because at
Rajasuya.
the same time, Jarasandha is still alive, so that means it is not. It is
Yeah,
No.
before
it's reflecting
Kurukshetra.
back to the time. In fact, that's why they kind of like intervened with that kada, where how this particular Indraprastha, this particular assembly house was given by the Mayasura, the demon, because that was the time when he went and created the assembly house. Yeah, so yeah, and Jarasandha is still alive as well.
Correct,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Can I add little bit,
Um,
Prabhuji? It is okay.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhu,
Prabhuji.
please. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Amoga Prabhuji, please add to
yes.
the.
So this is part. So once Kunti Devi brought her children, Pandavas, from the forest after Pandu left, and then they are in the Hastinapura. So during that time, Dhritarashtra and the Duryodhana company, they wanted to kill Pandavas somewhere or other, because Pandavas are by their pious activities and dharma, they're getting so much of glorious. So Dhritarashtra does not want that one. So he sent Pandavas to the Laka house, where it is distance from the Hastinapura, so that they will be put up into the Laka house and then burnt that Laka house. But somewhere other Vidra sent some messengers that make a tunnel from that Laka house to the forest somewhere, and then in such a way they would escape. So there Vidura give a different language to Yudhishthira. And then we just understood that there is going to be danger with the fire. So as soon as they understood, but somewhere or other they have escaped. Later on, they have been hiding themselves in the different place. So where Bhima has killed so many things, and later on, uh, they have approached. They have also got married with Draupadi. And by that time, Drupada Maharaj, everyone understand that these are Pandavas later on. And then Krishna and Balaram, they have come to that place. And later on, so in such a way, it is everyone know that these are the Pandavas. So by that time, Dhritarashtra and company, they were thinking that they were killed. So now, once they have come to the Hastinapura, and at that time there is no option for Dhritarashtra. He has to split the kingdom. So Dhritarashtra can give the Hastinapura to the all the Kauravas, and it was the Khandavavana. Khandavavana was there was only the forest. There is no city or no people. Oh, this time you take this land and you rule, but there are no people there. And then so Yudhishthira says, okay, as you wish. But actually they know that it is not a justice. But later on, by the presence of Yudhishthira, and then Krishna invited Indra and then to construct a kingdom there, big city there. So because Indra has done that one, that's why it is called Indraprastha. Instead of Khandavprastha, Indraprastha. So Yudhishthira ruled there, and at the time, Krishna and Arjuna were also present. So during that, where when they have gone to the some kind of picnic like that, so there they have met the Agni Deva, and then during the Dahana of the Khandava forest. So there Krishna has got the Sudarsana Chakra at that point of time. Arjuna has got Gandiva at that point of time from Agni Deva. Later on, from the because of Maidana, and he also gave Arjuna some this conch shell, and also he constructed Maisabha as well. So during that time, uh, he that was the construction of the Indraprastha. But later on, once Narada Muni went to Yudhishthira, and then once the Maisabha has constructed, Narada Muni was explaining about Brahma Sabha, Yama Sabha, and Varuna Sabha, and all the Sabha. So Yudhishthira also wanted to hear, have you seen, can you please compare this Maisabha? And then he was describing, and then there he says about the Pandu. You have been to so many other planet systems? Did you see my father? And then uh, Narada Muni says Pandu is in the Yamasabha, and then Harishchandra is in the Brahma Sabha, like that. Why they are in the Brahma Sabha? Why my father is in Yamasabha? When Yudhishthira asked that, and also Pandu has given a message that if Yudhishthira performs Rajasuya sacrifice, then he will be elevated to the higher sabhas, Indra sabhas, like that. So understanding that message, if one performs Raju sacrifice, there will be so much of destruction of the people as well. So that message was properly conveyed. We just understood that one. And later on one good day, so understanding that it is message of that is one angle, and it happens all this Raju sacrifice in the Indraprastha. So just I wanted to bring the context when it has happened, and by what inspiration it has happened. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for setting the context, because it's Mahabharata and some of the incidents are like so intertwined, isn't it, between so many leelas that happen. So it's very nice to get a context around during what time this has happened and the background why this Rajasuya sacrifice was being done. So thanks so much for the Sandeep Prabhu. Is that helpful? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yeah, because I just got confused in terms of timelines. So
timelines.
But I appreciate. Thank you.
But again he will perform after the Yuddha. Also, again he will perform. Yudhishthira will perform Rajasuya, I think.
Not Rajasaya. Rajasaya performs only once, not two times. So the later on, the three Ashwamedha yajnas performed.
Ashwamedha, yes. Prabhu. Yeah, Ashwamedha, sorry. Yes, Prabhu, Ashwamedha.
Correct.
Rajasaya sacrifices performed, Harishchandra performed once, and Varuna performed once, Varunadev, and Yudhishthira performed. There are no other people. We don't see any other people.
Okay,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just one thing. This is when this Rajasuya Yajna is done. This is when what do you say? Uh, Before this, they were in the forest, and that's when Bhima gets married to one demon, and Ghatotkata takes birth, isn't it? Is it exactly before when they were in the Lakka house and they escape from there and they live like Agnata?
Yes, Prabhuji. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many parts to this. Yeah, we have the very famous movie in Telugu, right?
Ghatotkata. Yeah, there's a movie as well on him.
Yeah, such a beautiful movie. I feel nobody. I mean, I really wish we have subtitle for that movie, so everybody can see it. Even though it may not be so factually correct, but so well taken, like in terms of like Ghatoshkacha and like how he's son of Bhima, and it's amazing, and it's very
That name
mentioned.
is Ghataksan. Ghataksan.
Yeah, Ramlal Prabhuji. And also, I heard that even the Hidamba's place is still there in Himachal Pradesh. Those places are there actually. Uh,
Exactly. Yes.
Bhima's, wife Hidamba, and I believe there's even a temple for her in Himachal Pradesh. That's what I heard somewhere. But yeah, all these things. There's so many incidents which actually happen during different times in Mahabharata, isn't it? Yeah, Ramlal Prabhuji, anything would you like to add?
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Do you have idea where the Indraprastha was?
What's that, Prabhuji?
In the present location.
I mean, what I heard that, the Hastinapur and all that is somewhere around Delhi is what I heard.
Yes,
And that's
exactly.
the
Is
reason
the
why, yeah, and that's the reason why the politicians now somebody is proposing that we should put that New Delhi back to, Indraprastha or Hastinapur. Like,
yeah.
there is actually a proposal that's happening. I don't know whether it's going to happen or not, but I would be very happy, like, if we change our country name back to Bharat.
Yes, exactly. It was in the now the Delhi,
Yeah.
and it was constructed according to archaeological. It was mentioned 3,100, I think 3,100 BC, like that time.
Mm.
Exactly time was 3,138. It was mentioned. So,
Yeah.
yes. So, and at that time, actually, Shishupal, is it Amak Prabhu can correct me? Shishupal at that Jagga, Shishupal did some offense at that time because Yudhishthir, they obeisance to Lord Krishna. And at that time, Shishupal was hindered for that. So, and Lord Krishna was counting 97, 98, 100. And at that time, Shishupal was delivered.
Yeah.
That's it. So actually, Rajashua is a king. Rajashua is a kings. They have to do that, and those are really king mentality, royal mentality. They can do that. They can perform. And only historical, only few people, as Amuk mentioned. That's right. And it has to be. It is very beneficial for the whole the place, the whole people. Not only evident the people, also in animal kingdom. Everything is very good for them. So nowadays in the Kolizok is hypocrisy is not right way. Whatever the political leader, they are telling one thing inside another thing. So, but at that time it was very, very right way. Whatever the leader, they have to support, they can support, but people can be satisfied at that place. Nowadays is opposite, only talking nicely, but inside they are enjoying, they are collecting financial gain or other things.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, I mean, so many different beautiful stories. But actually, just to see like how Krishna is response towards his cousins Pandavas and all that, and it's so amazing, isn't it, to see like how Krishna as a person, there's so many beautiful leelas that he does. And we're going to cover some more nectar in the next chapter, in this chapter, in the next week, so that we will see like how it progresses in terms of Rajasuya sacrifice, and we'll get more details on that. So we should let's look forward to that next week. Um, yeah, and also like this Sunday we're going to have the Gaura Purnima happening. So very very happy that there's going to be a nice festival in the temple, and we are looking forward to that this Sunday. Hopefully, there's going to be a nice time, and Gauranga Prabhu and Gaura Purnima is such a wonderful thing that we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's so important to glorify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratise Namaha. So important to offer our obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with Radha and Krishna as well. So there's no difference between both of them. So yeah. So let's celebrate on Sunday, the Gaura Purnima, and we will try to share some of the pictures from Manna. Like that, similarly, maybe anywhere, if anyone has any other beautiful pictures you can share on the day. We are there on both Akshpreet Sangha as well as on Bhagavad Gita as it is group. And our Bhagavad Gita group is also growing bigger and bigger. In fact, today it has crossed 150. In fact, 2 more devotees have been added, Amoga Prabhuji. Pavan Prabhu, just again for your information. Today another 2 Matajis have come, and it's very interesting. Today one Mataji came, she was a young girl, Mataji, and her name is Reena, and she joined us, and she said like, I got a new job and I wanted to came to temple just to thank Krishna. But I just feel like, I got a new job, but I'm not, that happiness is, we sometimes we get so excited, we want to get a job and all that, but once we get it, it's again like we don't have anything so joyful. And we're just talking about how material life is, even though we look forward to this and we think that, by getting that, we're going to be very, very happy. But again, once we get it, we are just again back to normal. This is the nature of material world, isn't it? It's all flickering happiness that we have in this material world, but real happiness is in the spiritual world. And that's the reason why we should always have a balance of life. Krishna is in Bhagavad Gita, if you see, he doesn't focus more about success of life. He focuses about balance of life. That is more important than success. Yogastu kuru karmani sangam chaktva dhananjaya siddha siddhiyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchate. That is Krishna's message. Perform your duty equipoised, Arjuna, abounding all attachment to success or failure. So don't be attached to success or failure. Just be equipoised, be balanced. And this is the balance that Krishna speaks about in many, many places in Bhagavad Gita. In fact, March 15th, I'm giving a class on on Bhagavad Gita in the temple room at 1 o'clock on the March 15th. So hopefully on this topic of Jnana Yoga and how we have to be balanced in terms of recreation, in terms of work, sleep, and everything. We should have a balanced. So Krishna talks about a holistic way of living. So he just not only talks about devotion, but it also talks about the art of living, that while we're living in this material world, how should we have a balance of life? So, on that note, I want to thank everyone for giving your precious time on a weekday. Ramlal Prabhuji, thank you so much for joining us. Gayatri ji and Sandeep Prabhuji and Pavan Prabhu, Swara Prabhuji, and all of our wonderful devotees, Samaga Prabhuji, for adding nectar, Prabhati Mataji. So joyful to be, and Neeraj Prabhuji as well. Thank you for joining and giving your precious association. So we will again be joining next week. So let's offer our the sing prayers. Vanchakalpa
Shall
Tarubhyasya.
we all do big three Hari Bols to Sham Prabhuji? Please. Yeah.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari
Bol.
Hari
Bol.
Bo.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari
Bol.
Bo.
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Thank you so much, Sham Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It makes me so joyful to be with a session of devotees, and just continue the nectar, keep going, and help each other and support each other, and just share more and more nectar with each other. So yeah. And if there's any ideas that you want to come up with, please let me know. I was also thinking like maybe towards the end of the session we should just have maybe one slide of a few things where we can just contemplate on some important messages from Krishna. Neeraj Prabhu, you have something to say?
Oh, that's really nice nectar.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
enjoyed the session.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Let's offer a final one. Vanchikalpa.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
Antakoti
अनन्तकोटिवैष्णवृन्द
Vaishnava
की
ki jai.
जय
Jai.
श्रीला
Srila
प्रभुपाद
Prabhupada
की
ki
Ki
jai.
Jai.
जय श्याम प्रभु जी की जय
Bhakta Sangha ki, our Sangha
जय
devotees
Jai.
ki Jai.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll meet next week, next Thursday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.